Comments like this from Lola Falana is the reason why I started a YouTube channel in the first place. My real life friends don't want to hear me talk about my hobbies, so I decided to start a YouTube channel so I could let it out of my system. And Chico and the van, Roy, I will continue the lift kit peer pressure. Here's her lifted Chevy Express 6.0, very nice. This is my second van build, and with my second van build, I wanted either the 6.0 GM Chevy or the V10 40 Econoline. I wanted the powerhouse motor. Mahalo Mofo is someone I've been interacting with for more than 10 years now, and he has recently showed up again in my comment section, wanting to do a van build, wanting to lift his van when he gets it. That's what I like to hear. Here's another new face in the comments. He's getting an action van suspension next month. Nice to see Larry still around. I talked to Larry almost 10 years ago with my first van build. Article on the action van ambulance. I made a video about this. I'll leave it at the end cards. Here's my lifted van. It's lifted on a Camberg style bent beam kit, around 5 inches. This is what I've noticed about people who drive lifted vans. They're fanatics like me, and most of the fanatics have ended up on my channel, and we've all became friends, and we all want to do a van meet. I've met up with a couple of you guys already. And then this market, the whole lifted van market, is a pretty affluent market. I actually met a somewhat popular YouTuber that does very expensive work for vans, and my van was just too ugly to feature on his channel. He acts like he loves lifted vans and the van genre, but I understand he's a businessman and he has to show the builds that are $50,000 plus. My $6,800 van was just way too ugly to show, but I get it. Like I said, this could be a very people who drive lifted vans, a lot of them are wealthy, and when I see a lifted van driving towards me, a lot of times I'm driving my van and a van's coming towards me and it's a lifted van. I always look at the front. I'm a fanatic, so I'm always looking at the front of the van because that's how I know what lift they have. So a lot of times when a lifted van is coming towards me, I'll look at the front and it's a solid front axle. When it's a solid front axle, I know it's a Quigley conversion or some kind of 4x4 conversion. Those guys never wave back at me. Like, I'll stick my hand out to try to wave at them and they ignore me. And the funny thing is, the people who have complimented my van are people who don't have a van, but they think my van's cool. Like, they'll say, hey, cool trailing arms. That van is really cool. So they'll notice the big trailing arms, radius arms on my van. They'll point that out. My last van is actually nicer or cooler looking than this van. This van is a lot nicer than my last van build. My other van build, my first van build, is cooler looking for sure, but everything was wrong with it. The sliding door didn't lock, the back doors didn't open, the windows didn't roll down. Everything was broken. The AC didn't work. So my second van build, I wanted to start off with a nicer base. I wanted the powerhouse engine, either the 6.0 GM engine or the Ford V10, and everything had to work. Windows, doors, everything works on this van. The rear AC works. So even though this doesn't look as cool as my last van build, it's a lot better. It's just lacking the bigger tires. So that's next. Stock 245s. Look at that wheel gap. My dilemma is, do I go 265 or 285? These are 245. If I go 265, you'll still be able to see a lot of the suspension, which I like. I love this wheel gap. I like how much suspension you could see on this thing. If I go 285, it's going to cover a lot of the suspension. Gonna sell it? Nah, man. Here's the tires I'm going with. After Christmas, I'm going to pick these up. So I don't know if I'm going 265 or 285. I'll make that decision soon. But here's the price. $667 for 4. No KO2s here. This is a budget channel, so I'm gonna go with the budget theme. For people like me and you don't want to go used tires, I'll go ahead and try those out. They're also load range E's. I think I mentioned that already. But since these vans recommend load range E's, I want to stick with load range E's. I believe load range E's could handle like 3,800 pounds per tire. So 12,000 total pounds, which I'll never carry in this van. But it's better to have a strong tire than a weak tire. And I abuse these tires up in Hungry Valley. So I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily I need bigger tires. Wider would be better. Like when you air down, your tires will be wider. And then when you air down, it's better for the sand. I think the big one's going to be the rear locker. When this thing has a rear locker, it's going to be very capable, because it did great up in Hungry Valley with these 245s on them. And the lift was definitely great for clearance. There were spots where I really needed the clearance. Even my girlfriend was worried that we weren't going to clear a couple of obstacles up in Hungry Valley, but plenty of clearance. I didn't touch any of the suspension, so the lift was definitely needed in Hungry Valley when I took some of the trails on.